Miami's down by 10. Bam! Stuffed it in with a right hand.
From a dilapidated mobile home by a North Carolina highway, living a meager existence with only his mother as his anchor, Bam Adebayo ascended to become a cornerstone of the Miami Heat. He signed a $163 million contract, resides in a waterfront mansion, wears custom-tailored expensive suits, and stands as the ultimate guardian of Heat culture. Yet, success hasn't equated to serenity. Amidst the glare of the spotlight, Bam directed profanities at referees on the court and threatened fans after a painful NBA Finals defeat. The man, once an emblem of composure, now faces questions about pressure and his personal limits. Is Bam Adebayo in control of his life, or is his reputation controlling him? How did a player rise from poverty to build his own empire, both on and off the court? Join us as we delve into the opulent and dazzling life of Bam Adebayo.
He cut it.
Chapter 1. Biography. When a boy had nothing but his mother and hope. In the small town of Pinetown, North Carolina, where the population barely reaches 200 and every road leads to cornfields or pine forests, no one imagined that the tall black boy living in a rundown trailer would one day become one of the NBA's premier centers. But for Bam Adebayo, his circumstances weren't a cause for lament. They were a reason to push forward. Born on July 18, 1997, in Newark, New Jersey, Idris Femi Adebayo soon moved with his mother to rural North Carolina after his father, a Nigerian native, left. Bam never saw him again. The two lived in a mobile home perched on red clay, just spacious enough for a bed, an old TV, and a dream never spoken aloud. His mother, Marilyn Blount, worked at a donut shop, leaving home before dawn each day. She instilled in Bam simple values: gratitude, hard work, and never using poverty as an excuse for bad behavior. I never saw my mother complain about anything, even when there wasn't enough money for milk, Bam recalled. The nickname Bam originated from an incident where he slammed his hand on a coffee table, shattering it, just like the character Bam Bam from the Flintstones. The name sounded cool, and it stuck, accompanying him to every dusty basketball court in the area. Bam didn't have his own court. He played with friends at the church grounds, using worn-out balls and old hoops. Some days his shoes would tear, and he'd tape them up and keep playing. While other young players were sent to prestigious academies, Bam had only one thing: a desperate hunger to lift his mother out of that dilapidated trailer. At Northside High School, Bam was never the local legend. The school was small, the coach had to solicit his own funding, but it was there that the silent beast was nurtured. Bam didn't score 50 points a game, but he defended as if every possession was his last. One day, while playing in a small in-state tournament, a Kentucky scout inadvertently saw Bam dunk so forcefully that the backboard shook violently. They took notice, and soon after, the entire basketball world knew the name Bam Adebayo after an explosive AAU season where he averaged over 20 points and nearly 15 rebounds. Among a flood of offers, Bam chose Kentucky, a place that had been a launch pad for NBA superstars. Not for the reputation, but because Calipari believed I was more than just a traditional center. There, Bam learned to use his mind alongside his muscles, gradually becoming a modern big man, capable of blocking shots, facilitating the ball, and executing delicate plays in the high post. It was also there that Bam first felt he could truly make it. Bam Adebayo wasn't born to stand out. He didn't have highlight reels from 9th grade, wasn't called a prodigy, and had no one sponsoring his tuition. But he had a mother willing to work 14 hours a day, and a reason big enough not to give up. And that, for Bam, mattered more than any privilege. Chapter 2. Career. From supporting role to Miami's mainstay. In 2017, when Bam Adebayo was selected as the 14th pick in the NBA draft, no one stood up to applaud. There were no murmurs of excitement like with Jason Tatum, no expectations like with Donovan Mitchell or De'Aaron Fox. Even Miami Heat fans couldn't hide their skepticism. A classic big man, undersized by standards, with virtually nothing flashy besides his ability to score near the basket. Experts placed him in the solid role player category, the kind of player who would do his job well, if assigned. But there was one thing the stat sheets couldn't measure that draft night. Bam had an exceptional memory, and he remembered every slight, every shake of the head, using it as fuel to silently ignite. I heard people call me a throw-in. That just made me work harder. In his first 2 years in Miami, Bam did what very few young players do. He stayed quiet and learned. Behind Hassan Whiteside, a dominant rebounding center at the time, Bam existed like a shadow, making no noise, demanding no spotlight. But within that shadow, a system began to be built. He defended tirelessly. He ran the court as if every point was a matter of survival. He communicated on the court with a maturity far beyond his 20 years, and most importantly, he didn't complain. Ever. On a team where the culture of "no one is bigger than the team" was the guiding principle, Bam gradually became a rare type of player, one willing to do all the dirty work so his teammates could shine. In the 2019 to 2020 season, Hassan Whiteside departed. Miami placed their trust in Bam, and he didn't disappoint. He averaged 15.9 points, 10.2 rebounds, and 5.1 assists per game, numbers unmatched by a Heat center since Chris Bosh. In the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals, Bam made a legendary block on a dunk attempt by Jason Tatum, deciding Game 1 and igniting hope for all of Miami. ESPN called it one of the clutchest defensive plays in playoff history. Miami reached the NBA Finals, a team without a superstar, without a blockbuster trade, but with Bam and an unyielding spirit. Since then, Bam Adebayo has become the defensive soul of the Miami Heat. He doesn't score 30 points every night, but he defends every position, from sharpshooting guards to towering centers. He doesn't go on television to tell stories, but he's the first to arrive at practice and the last to leave. From 2020 to 2024, Bam made 5 consecutive all-defensive teams, an achievement matched only by defensive legends. He helped Miami reach the NBA Finals again in 2023, once again baffling the pundits. How did they get this far with this roster? The answer always included his name. In 2020, Miami solidified their belief with a 5-year, $163 million contract extension, one of the largest deals in team history. Many called it a risky decision, but the Heat understood. They weren't paying for highlights. They were paying for culture, for a foundation, and for someone who would never turn his back on the team. Bam didn't let them down. On the international stage, Bam Adebayo has brought home 2 Olympic gold medals for Team USA in Tokyo 2020 and Paris 2024. While never the primary scorer, Bam is the player. Superstars most want to play alongside. LeBron, Curry, KD, all praise him for his unspoken intelligence, for always being in the right place at the right time, and for his humility in a collective of big egos. When asked about his personal goals, Bam always replies softly, "I don't need to score 30 points. I just need my team to win and my mother to be proud." Bam Adebayo chose to enter the 2017 NBA draft with all the aspirations of changing his life. This decision not only opened the door to his career, but also marked the first turning point on his path to the pinnacle of the NBA. Chapter 3. Assets. Luxurious Miami skyline and the world's most exquisite bespoke suits. When Bam Adebayo signed his 5-year, $163 million contract extension With the Miami Heat in 2020, he didn't throw a party or fly to Las Vegas to celebrate. The first thing he did was buy a new house for his mother, something he had vowed to do every time he practiced shooting under the low ceiling of their old mobile home. "I told my mom, I don't know how much money I'm going to make, but I promise, one day you won't have to wake up to the sound of cars driving past the window anymore." Currently, Bam resides in a high-end penthouse in the heart of Miami, in the Brickell area, where financial titans, A-list artists, and the newly rich share a skyline with views of Biscayne Bay. His apartment spans over 2,000 square feet, with ceilings nearly 13 feet high, and a muted color palette of white, gray, and wood tones designed by a boutique interior design studio in California. There are no team logos, no highlight photos, or jerseys hanging on the walls like many other players. In Bam's home, the most striking feature is the living room corner with floor-to-ceiling windows, offering a direct view of the ocean, complete with a massage chair for his mother, placed right next to a hand-painted picture of the mobile home where he grew up. Bam once said in a podcast, "I don't need a castle. I just need a quiet place to listen to music, and for my mom to take a nap without having to turn on a high-powered fan." Unlike many NBA stars who own a fleet of cars like a showroom garage, Bam Adebayo is more understated, but each vehicle he owns has personality and a reason behind it. The first car he bought was an Audi A8, a luxury sedan favored by the financial elite, worth over $90,000. He called it the first car that took my mom out to eat without her having to hunch over because of the lack of space. The second was a top-of-the-line customized Cadillac Escalade ESV with white leather upholstery and red stitching and a Bang & Olufsen sound system. He uses it whenever his mother is with him or when he wants to disappear into the city without being recognized. It cost $130,000. Most recently, according to various unofficial sources from Clutch Points and Sportskeeda, Bam owns a matte graphite Mercedes-Benz AMG GT63S, custom-ordered with the night package, valued at nearly $200,000. The total value of his current car collection is estimated to be over $400,000, not extravagant for an NBA star, but clearly reflecting his style. Enough to travel like a successful person, but without screaming about who he is. The most interesting aspect of Bam's lifestyle isn't his cars, it's his suits. Since the 2017 NBA draft, Bam has been loyal to designer Joanna Alba, the woman behind the suits of LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Russell Westbrook. All his suits are custom-tailored to his extremely challenging physique. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, and asymmetrical long arms due to his height and build. For every major event, All-Star, award ceremonies, even the Olympics, he appears in sharp suits, usually in cool tones, navy blue, charcoal black, ash gray, or earth cream. At the Miami Heat's Heat Culture Forever campaign launch in 2023, Bam arrived in an olive double-breasted suit. No patterns, no pins, no bow tie, only wearing a white-faced Patek Philippe watch. A GQ sports journalist wrote, "He doesn't dress to grab attention. He dresses so that anyone who knows fashion has to nod in approval." The only thing Bam has ever publicly flaunted is a Richard Mille 11-03 watch, worth nearly $300,000, which he wore exactly once, then put away. When asked about it, he said, "Wearing expensive things is like playing defense. Right time, right place, then take it off." Bam doesn't have a penthouse in New York. He doesn't have a beachfront villa in Malibu, but he has an intangible yet most enduring asset, the image of a star who doesn't need to show off to be remembered. For Bam Adebayo, assets aren't for proving anything to the world. They are for fulfilling the promise of the past, to his mother, to himself, and to a life that once didn't offer him many choices. Chapter 4. Marriage. When two basketball stars became a power couple. In the world of professional basketball, where the spotlight is always bright and every action is scrutinized, Bam Adebayo and Aja Wilson have chosen a different kind of love. Quiet, private, yet deeply profound. Rumors about the relationship between Bam and Aja began to surface before the 2024 Paris Olympics, when both were representing Team USA. They frequently appeared together, from training sessions to off-court events, but always remained silent to the media. It wasn't until February 2025 at the jersey retirement ceremony for Aja Wilson's number 22 at the University of South Carolina that she officially confirmed the relationship. In her emotional speech, Aja called Bam "my favorite Olympian from afar," accompanied by a knowing smile. Their relationship is not just a connection between two basketball stars, but also a meeting of souls. Aja once shared, "The great thing about our relationship is the understanding. We know how to navigate a lot of challenges, and we always lift each other up." One of the most memorable moments was when Bam Adebayo wore Aja Wilson's signature Nike A1 shoes during a game against the Brooklyn Nets on January 25, 2025. This gesture not only showed his support, but also affirmed his affection for his girlfriend. Both have also frequently appeared together at important events. Aja was present at the ceremony where Bam received the key to Miami-Dade County in September 2024, and they were also spotted having dinner at a luxurious restaurant in Beverly Hills in January 2025. Despite always keeping their private lives under wraps, every time Bam and Aja appear together, they exude a deep bond and understanding. They don't need flowery words, just small but meaningful actions to express their feelings. In a world where everything is exposed, Bam Adebayo and Aja Wilson have chosen their own way of loving, where love doesn't need to be loud, just sincere and mutually understanding. For many years, Bam Adebayo was seen as an ideal role model in the professional basketball world. A player with no romantic scandals, no involvement in partying, and no shocking statements on social media. A filial son, a positive figure in the community, and a defensive center who always puts the team first. But then, every image, no matter how carefully constructed, has its moments of cracking. Chapter 5. Scandal. Scratches on the image of a silent hero. In March 2025, the Miami Heat faced the Minnesota Timberwolves in a nationally televised game. With only seconds left on the clock, Bam took a three-point shot that could have sent the game into overtime. But the shot missed, and no foul was called, even though Bam insisted he was clearly contacted during the final play. As the game ended with a 106-104 victory for the Timberwolves, Bam didn't head back to the bench. He walked straight to center court, where referee Kevin Cutler was standing, and began to loudly protest. Many were stunned to see him lose his usual composure. According to the NBA's report, he used offensive language and made inappropriate physical contact with the referee. The consequence? A $50,000 fine, accompanied by disappointment from those who had believed him to be an icon of self-control. Less than a month later, another wave of public opinion surged. On November 10, 2024, during a 112-115 loss to the Phoenix Suns, Bam was recorded in a heated verbal exchange with a courtside fan. According to leaked audio from the arena microphones, the fan had repeatedly taunted Bam throughout the fourth quarter, calling him overrated and scared of Devin Booker. After the game ended, Bam approached the edge of the court, looked directly at the person, and uttered a cold but threatening sentence, "I'll slap you." Referees and a member of the Miami coaching staff had to intervene to prevent the situation from escalating. The incident quickly spread on social media, creating a wave of controversy. Some criticized Bam's unacceptable behavior, arguing that someone with his positive image and leadership role shouldn't react to provocation in that way. Others defended him, suggesting that his restraint throughout the game and the single warning he issued showed remarkable control. Coach Eric Spoelstra later said briefly in a press conference, "Bam endures more than anyone I've ever coached, but even steel has a breaking point." Notably, Bam issued no public apologies for either incident, not out of arrogance, but because his nature was never to be one for explanations. In his first media appearance after the second scandal, he simply stated, "If people expect me to never react, maybe they've forgotten that I'm also human." In the world of sports, where image is cultivated down to every gesture, every lapse in control comes at a price. For Bam, it wasn't just the fines, it was the first crack in the silent hero image he had built for so long. But it was also from those cracks that fans began to realize even the strongest walls endure something. And sometimes it's the outburst that makes that image more real. Chapter 6. Achievements. A Warm Heart. Behind the Arena Lights. If one only looked at the statistical charts, Bam Adebayo would appear as an excellent defensive center, averaging over 10 rebounds and 5 assists per season. But to fully understand the value Bam brings to modern basketball, especially to the culture of the Miami Heat, one needs to look beyond the numbers. Since the 2019 to 2020 season, Bam Adebayo officially stepped into the spotlight after Hassan Whiteside left the team. It was the moment Miami placed their full trust in him, and Bam did not disappoint. In his first season as a cornerstone player, he earned an All-Star selection and helped the Miami Heat advance all the way to the NBA Finals, overcoming both Giannis Antetokounmpo's Milwaukee Bucks and Jason Tatum's Boston Celtics. The most iconic moment of that season, and perhaps one of the images forever etched in NBA history, was his incredible block in Game 1 of the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals. As Tatum leaped to dunk, Bam appeared from behind, not only blocking the shot but also preserving the entire momentum for Miami. ESPN called it one of the clutchest defensive plays in playoffs history. Not content with just one breakout season, Bam maintained consistent performance and became one of the most reliable defensive anchors in the league. From 2020 to 2024, he was selected to the NBA All-Defensive Team for 5 consecutive seasons. This not only reflects his individual skills, but also stands as a testament to his unwavering dedication and relentless spirit, the core values of Heat culture that Bam now most prominently represents. Beyond the NBA, Bam is also a crucial part of the United States national team. He won a gold medal at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, where he played a key defensive role alongside stars like Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. At the 2024 Paris Olympics, Bam was again selected to the team amidst a roster full of superstars, including LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Jason Tatum, and was still considered indispensable because everyone needs a silent cleaner. However, what makes Bam's career most memorable isn't the number of times his name has been called. It's what he chooses to do when the arena lights go out. In 2020, at the same time he signed his $163 million contract with the Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo established the BAM Foundation, an acronym for Benevolence, Achievement, Motivation. His goal was clear: to create opportunities for children who grew up in circumstances similar to his own, poor, lacking direction, and with almost no one to believe they could go far. From scholarships for underprivileged minority students in North Carolina to funding sports equipment for inner-city high schools in Miami, and even basic financial literacy workshops and school counseling, every activity of the foundation is linked to what Bam lacked as a child living in a mobile home with his mother. At a fundraising event in Miami in 2022, Bam didn't give a speech. He simply stood a step behind as his mother, Marilyn, took the stage and spoke about the days young Bam had to sleep under streetlights because the electricity in their home was cut off. That night, they raised over $500,000. Bam doesn't often talk about what he does, But people have seen him numerous times at community summer camps, quietly awarding scholarships to students who never thought they had a chance to go to college. Even during one all-star weekend, where every star was busy with events or filming TikToks, Bam spent Sunday with his mother distributing breakfast to the homeless in Little Havana. He once said in a small interview, "If I'm not doing this for the kids, then what's the point of a $100 million contract?" In a league where names, fashion, houses, and cars often dictate image, Bam Adebayo has chosen a different path, letting his achievements speak for themselves and letting his kindness quietly build a legacy. Perhaps that's why people don't just call him a pillar of the team. They call him a pillar of hope, that you can go far, succeed, and still keep a heart as warm as when you had nothing in your hands. Chapter 7. Future. Keeping the flame in Miami or setting sail with untamed dreams. Bam Adebayo once said something simple yet profound. "I'm not a superstar, I'm the foundation." And for nearly a decade he has lived up to that, being the first brick laid every day for the Miami Heat. Not as flashy as the top scorers, not as hyped as the MVPs, but always the first name called in strategy meetings, the player his teammates rely on when the game goes off script. He is an indispensable part of the Heat culture formula, the disciplined, demanding, and team-first basketball ethos that Eric Spoelstra has painstakingly cultivated. Yet, heading into the 2025 to 2026 season, the question begins to arise. Will Bam continue to be Miami's cornerstone, or is he approaching a turning point in his career? Following their defeat in the 2023 NBA Finals and a prolonged stretch of inconsistent play from 2024 to early 2025, the Miami Heat find themselves at a crossroads. Remain loyal to their current core or rebuild to usher in a new era. Jimmy Butler is showing signs of physical decline, Tyler Herro lacks consistency, and Bam, at 28 years old, is entering the prime years of his playing career. Consequently, he has become the focus of numerous offers from major teams. The Los Angeles Lakers were rumored to be ready to put an attractive package on the table to bring Bam in as the post-LeBron anchor of their new lineup. The Golden State Warriors also conducted discreet inquiries looking for a replacement for Draymond Green in the coming years. And the Boston Celtics, the team Bam once eliminated from the playoffs, could be the place where he becomes the ultimate defensive piece for the Tatum-Brown-Porzingis framework. The market offers no shortage of options, but the question isn't where to go. It's who does Bam want to become in the next 5 years? Staying in Miami, he will continue to be an icon, the one laying the bricks to rebuild a faltering empire. He will have a voice in every rebuilding plan. He will become the new Udonis Haslem, not just a player, but the soul of the team. But leaving could allow Bam to truly pursue what Miami hasn't yet been able to give him, an NBA championship. On a deeper roster with primary scorers and three-point support, Bam could revert to his most potent version, a defensive disruptor, an underrated playmaker, someone who doesn't need 30 points to change the game's outcome. Off the court, Bam is also expanding his influence. Nike has targeted him as one of the new age defensive brand representatives, a segment that has often been overlooked. The BAM Foundation is also expanding into life skills training programs for young athletes, and according to multiple sources, he is considering a joint investment in a community sports academy in Miami, inspired by LeBron's model in Ohio. All of this suggests Bam is entering a new chapter, one that isn't just about on-court performance, but also about the legacy he leaves behind. In a world where many stars quickly abandon their beginnings for bigger opportunities, whether Bam Adebayo continues his commitment to Miami or chooses to embark on a new chapter, will be a significant decision, not just for his career, but also for how people view loyalty, identity, and sacrifice in modern basketball. From a boy who grew up in a mobile home in North Carolina to a symbol of one of the NBA's most disciplined teams, Bam Adebayo has journeyed not with brilliance, but with steadfastness. He isn't the type of superstar to break the internet, but he's the kind of player who makes his entire team feel secure when the game gets tough. He doesn't seek personal glory, but always lays the first brick for every victory. And perhaps precisely because he never demanded the spotlight, he has become a different kind of light, simmering, persistent, and one that makes those who once doubted him nod in acknowledgement. Bam Adebayo's journey is not over, and if you ever underestimated him, perhaps he will be the one to make you reconsider. Again, we are not responsible if you misunderstand or misapply this content. Please exercise your own judgment, verification, and selective reception. Enjoyed it? Give us a like, comment, share, or subscribe. That's the fuel to keep us telling more top stories about other NBA superstars.